What is happening, all you YouTube warriors out there? Range Dave Bro back at it again, and today I have a very good video for you guys going over my budget 300 blackout build. Let's get into it. If you've ever started off a build with a budget that you far surpassed by the time the whole thing is kitted out, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, guys. Lord knows I've done it before, and I actually did it on this build right here, which we're gonna go over today. I wanna go over my rifle build, or pistol in this case, today, and talk about some things that you may wanna consider as far as a budget build and the cheapest that you really wanna go for a realistic and something that you'd actually grab in the scenario which you might need it. So if this is gonna be your only rifle or pistol, or if this is gonna be your bedside, then obviously you want it to be reliable. You want it to be made with quality parts that are gonna run in adverse conditions if those ever do so to get introduced. So what I'm gonna go over today from tip to butt is everything I have into this guy, but I'm not gonna be talking about this rifle in particular. I'll tell you how much I paid for these different products on here, but I did choose a little bit more of a premium in certain areas, and we'll talk about that when we move on through the video. Before I get into too much of the nitty gritty about the little individual parts that I have on this build, I just want to tell you guys a little bit about my intentions when building this. Start with where my mindset really was and what I wanted to accomplish with this. As you guys already know, if you've seen some of my videos on my channel, I already have a Daniel Defense DDM4 PDW, which is a chambered in 300 blackout, has a 7-inch barrel. And then I built the ultimate backpack truck gun, which is also chambered in 300 blackout, which has a 10.3-inch barrel. Now with the backpack gun, I was able to get an overall length shorter than the 7-inch barreled 300 blackout from Daniel Defense because I used a Law Tactical folder. And that was great, and I love the Law Tactical folder. It has its own place. It just adds a little bit of weight, and obviously you can't use PDW style stock or brace that we have here on this guy right here. There's limitations to the Law Tactical folder, and also monetarily it's not very cost prohibitive. So with that being said, I wanted to have a barrel that was right in the middle, kind of the sweet spot, the Goldilocks between the 7-inch barrel and the 10.3-inch. So what I opted for was a Ballistic Advantage Hansen 8.3-inch to kind of give me that happy medium between ballistic performance and still having it be compact enough. Now, one of the things you'll notice on this guy that's different from any of my other pistols or rifles is that it has a integral suppressor, and it's not truly integral, it's just recessed. It is not permanently fixed to the barrel or anything like that. This was purchased separately. I waited for my tax stamp, all that good stuff. But it just so happens that this Aero Precision handguard does have enough internal diameter for a 1.5-inch suppressor to be recessed underneath it. So that's one of the other reasons I went with a shorter barrel, because this is a 9-inch handguard. I wanted to recess the Hybrid 46 that we have here, so it has that really cool integral suppressed look. So with that being said, I wanted to find a special place for this camo because I really love it, and I kind of pieced it all together when I got this Honey Badger PDW brace that we have here. I threw it on here for a demonstration unboxing video, and I really love the way it looked. There is some gray in this camo pattern, not so much, but there's a bit of gray in here, so I decided to go with the gray build. Anyways, that's kind of where this build originated, the idea. I wanted to have something that was 8.3-inch in between the 10.3 and the 7-inch, still giving me good ballistic performance out to distance with supers, but also be able to integrally suppress it and make it look just all around badass, kind of like my Call of Duty build, so to speak. So let's start up at the front. I already gave some of this stuff away, but let's start with the Hybrid 46 that we have here. This is a 46 caliber can. It is a jack of all trades, master of none. It does work pretty well in 45, but it is heavy and it's really thick for a pistol can. Again, it is a jack of all trades, so I bought it for my pistol calibers, but it also works great on the 300 blackout. So not quite as quiet as like the Nomad 30 from Dead Air, which I have on my truck gun build, but still gets the job done, cuts a lot of that crack down, and it's overall pretty big can, so it does have a lot of volume in there internally. Now that's recessed underneath the Aero Precision handguard here, which we have their M4E1. This is their enhanced builder set. I feel like you have to take advantage of how wide this handguard is. Now, it's not so wide, it's like you can't fit your hand around it or it's uncomfortable, but it is wide enough to recess an 1.5-inch suppressor under there which I took full advantage of, as you can tell. It is pretty lightweight overall. There's a lot of weight savings in this guy. Even the top Picatinny rail is milled out, but it has M-LOK at the 3, 6, and 9 positions, which is great, and has QD cups machined right in at the 3, 6, and 9 as well. And the best part about all this is that the upper receiver is one piece with the mounting, with what the handguard mounts to. So that's the enhanced upper receiver. If you haven't seen the Aero enhanced upper, go ahead and check it out. It's a pretty cool design, as bomb-proof as it really gets, in my opinion. Going back to what's underneath the handguard, we have the Ballistic Advantage 8.3-inch Hansen profile barrel with the low-profile pin gas block, which is just phenomenal. I love having a pin gas block. I don't think there's any more bomb-proof than a pin gas block that you can get. So that's very nice. It comes with it. All I had to buy was the gas tube, which I opted for. I believe it was a Spikes Tactical Melanated Stainless Steel gas tube. I'm not shooting full auto with this thing, and 300 blackout's pretty expensive. So I'm pretty sure any run-of-the-mill gas tube would do the job. Moving back, I have the Reptilla grip. I have the Honey Badger PDW brace by SB Tactical. And I have a radian selector switch. I have an ALG enhanced trigger in here. I forget what it's called. It's not the quality mil spec. It's the enhanced combat trigger, I think it is. And then just the Aero Precision lower parts kit on this guy. Besides that, I have the Holosun 503G ACSS reticle on here, and it is sitting on an ADM mount. Let's talk about cost. I know that's why you're all here. Y'all want to find out how you can build this thing for under 400 bucks. Well, unfortunately, the suppressor itself costs almost as much as the rest of the gun. So the suppressor obviously is not exactly a budget item. I just wanted to go over the parts and the prices of these parts that are on this build, because this is as cheap as I would go for a duty use, or like your life's going to rely upon this for a nightstand gun. So this is as cheap as I would go. And I forgot to mention that I do have a Geisley charging handle on here. It's the Airborne low profile charging handle and a BCM bolt carrier group. So let me just go from tip to butt again and talk a little bit about your options and how much I paid for these items. So, all right, guys, so I'm back. I did the math, and this total build, not including the suppressor or the optic, I have about $1,600. Let me just run through that real quick, because I did go to the other websites and figure out off of Aero's website and so on and so forth. I paid about $550 for the builder set. That is the camo builder set. If you didn't want the camo, or you wanted a regular black Aero builder set, it'd probably be more like $400 to $480. So you save some money there going without the Gucci things. And that's going to kind of be the theme of this video is I spent extra where I wanted to spend extra, and I'll kind of recommend to you where you can do the same. But I wanted the camo, so that was $550. You can get it for $400 to $480 if you're going for just the FDE or just the black. Ballistic Advantage 8.3-inch Hansen profile barrel is $210 plus $15 for the gas tube. A BCM bolt carrier group is about $190. Geisley charging handle is about $100. Lower parts kit from Aero Precision, about $34. Radian selector is about $55. SB Honey Badger PDW brace is $300. That does come with the buffer tube, the buffer, and the spring, because it is a shorter buffer tube and all that. It's kind of a proprietary thing to this brace here. And then the grip, the Reptilla grip, ended up being like $30 after shipping and tax. And then the ALG trigger is about $75. And total, that rounds up to $1,559 or $1,560. And I just rounded up to $1,600 because you're surely going to pay that by the time you pay taxes and shipping, at least about $1,600. But with that being said, there's plenty of ways you could have saved money even from this setup. Now, the things you wouldn't want to save money on, in my humble opinion, are the barrel and the bolt carrier group are two of the main functioning, moving, and most heavily abused parts of the gun. You figure those are the parts that are taking the explosions, essentially. You can't go wrong with an Aero Precision builder set. This is probably my 5th Aero Precision builder set that I've built over the years. Love them. They're super easy to build and work with. And so it's kind of already a pretty cheap builder set for a upper, lower, and a handguard for about $400 to $450. Let's just say $450 as a median. You can get a Geisley handguard like a Mark IV or a Mark 16 for like $325. So you're pretty much getting an entire upper, lower, and handguard for the price of essentially $100 less than a Geisley handguard. So that's not knocking Geisley handguards. They're amazing. They're incredible. But Aero Precision is about as cheap as you'd want to go, in my opinion, for a builder set as far as that goes. And you could also buy their non-enhanced version and upgrade the handguard if you don't like the width of the enhanced handguard. BCM, I wouldn't cheap out on the barrel or on the bolt carrier group. I think Ballistic Advantage is kind of the lowest I would go as far as budget goes. I think I've had a couple Odin Works barrels over the years. Nothing bad to say about them, just also nothing that great to say about them. A barrel is a barrel. I expect it to perform, and when you're buying from a company like Ballistic Advantage or Odinworks, they're going to work. I go with Ballistic Advantage from now on because they have the pin gas block. I like the Hansen profile. It's a little bit thicker in the back, so it takes a lot longer to heat up. But as far as that goes, I would not cheap out on the barrel and the gas block in particular as well. The way it mounts up means a lot to me. If you don't have a dimpling jig, I recommend investing in that. If you don't know what that is, that's just when you put 2 divots essentially in the bottom of your barrel so your set screws that secure the gas block have a divot to set into. So it's a lot harder for that to get out of alignment. But with that being said, did I need a Radian selector switch? No. The Aero Precision parts kit for $34 came with a mil-spec selector switch, which was not ambidextrous. However, I like certain things a certain way, and once you get used to them, you kind of can't live without them, in my opinion. It's kind of like when a rich woman goes broke and then she ends up killing herself because she can't live like the poor's, right? That's kind of how I am with gun builds. Once I experience the Geisley charging handle, I will never buy another charging handle for the rest of my life. It is just top notch. When you're shooting suppressed, it comes up, but you don't have to get a Geisley charging handle. Any reliable mil-spec charging handle will do the job from a reliable company. So you don't need the $100 charging handle. You can get one for $12, $15, $20. And you could get a pretty good one, in fact, from Radian, the Raptor, the LT version for like $56. So this is supposed to be my budget build. However, I do have Gucci shit on here. So my whole point is kind of pick and choose, right? Did I need the Geisley Maritime bolt release? No, I didn't feel like I needed that. So I didn't spend the money on that, right? And so on and so forth as the list goes on. Did I need a different mag release? Did I need an ambidextrous mag release? I don't think so. But I did opt for a pretty expensive brace, which is not the most comfortable to shoot. And by that, I mean it is not comfortable at all. I'm sorry for whoever enjoys this brace. I was talking it up. It looks amazing. It looks fantastic. However, when you have it extended and you put your cheek on this guy, this little sharp edge right here just digs into your cheek. And as you'll see in the video, most of my misses were because I had this guy in my cheek like so, and the gun would recoil and it would hit just right into my cheekbone. It was extremely uncomfortable and unpleasant to shoot. So it looks great. That's about it. I would not buy this guy again. Am I going to take it off? No, because I love the way it looks and I have enough other ARs that I could shoot. Also, another thing I upgraded was the trigger. Now this isn't as expensive as like a Geisley Super Dynamic 3 gun or anything like that. However, it is an upgrade. It's $75 I didn't have to spend. Aero Precision has a mil-spec trigger on their website for $34. And ALG actually sells an enhanced mil-spec trigger for about $45. So a lot of savings could be had in this same particular setup if you can, come to terms with having just a regular mil-spec charging handle or even just a cheaper version of any of the items that you see here, right? So I want to just point that out, but I wouldn't go cheap. I wouldn't go lesser quality than the Ballistic Advantage on the barrel goes, and I wouldn't go any cheaper than a BCM or a Daniel Defense or an FN or a Radian bolt carrier group for that matter, because that is the heart of the gun, and that's most likely what's going to fail if anything does. So with that being said, guys, I did spend around $1,600 for this, not including the optic or the suppressor, but in my opinion, this gun can be had in a very similar configuration, maybe with a different brace, a different selector switch, a different trigger, a different charging handle, and a different camo, right? Or no camo for that matter, for probably more in the ballpark of like $1,300. Forgive me, not $300. I wish, but probably around like $1,300 to $1,400 instead of the $1,600 price tag. So you can probably save easy $200 or more likely, probably more like $1,200 if you went with an SBA 3 brace instead of this Honey Badger brace. If you went with a Radian LT charging handle, which is still ambidextrous, still a great charging handle, you'd save another $50 right there. If I didn't buy this Radian selector right here, that's another $55 of savings, not including tax and shipping. So you could see where the money just starts to fall off of this build once you start to be less picky about what you really want. And also, you could always add these upgrades later. If you just want to get your skin in the game, it's going to be your first AR build ever, then just get in the game with the mil-spec stuff, train with it, learn with it, figure out what you like. Try, make friends at the range, ask them what they like, what they don't like. A lot of guys, including myself, I love letting people shoot my builds at the range. It's kind of like, when I show people my dog's tricks in front of them, it's kind of a proud moment when I can be like, hey, you want to shoot this, man? Like, come on, give it a shot. Here you go. It's a full mag. take as many as you want. And that's kind of an honor for me to do that. So if you're new to the AR game, which I'm assuming most of you aren't if you're watching this video, if you're new to it, then you could always just go with a mil-spec setup completely, go with a more budget setup, like not including all these Gucci parts, and then upgrade it later. That's the beauty of the AR platform. As you grow and expand your collection, you could even swap things out. A pistol like this could be had for relatively cheaply. Now, I know you can buy complete rifles from reputable companies, big box companies like Ruger, Smith & Wesson, you name it. I actually saw a LWRC on sale over Black Friday for like $1,500, which is pretty darn cheap. You can buy pretty good rifles and pistols for around this budget point, but the difference is if you know what you like, you could build it out exactly as you want it. Just don't go cheaper on the parts that are literally containing the explosions, like the barrel and like your bolt carrier group and just the overall upper lower receiver. Everything else can pretty much be mil-spec and you can get away with it running practically flawlessly. If you know how to install it properly and build it properly, there's a lot to be said about building your own ARs. It's a very rewarding and satisfying experience. That's part of the whole thing, is watching the parts come in. It's somewhat of an addiction, so be careful. Don't start digging yourself a hole budget-wise and getting in debt because you have an obsession with buying gun parts. All of these parts are expensive. We understand. This gun is close to the same price with a suppressor, more than my first car ever cost me. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you took something away from it. And I hope to hear from you guys what kind of badass builds you're going to be building here in the near future using the information you got from this video. All right, guys, let's wrap this video up. If it's your first time here, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you're a return viewer, then thank you for your loyalty, you sexy YouTube warriors. And until next time, stay safe, stay dangerous. Range Day Bro, out.